What is up, everybody? Welcome back to From the Crypt, the podcast where Derek and I discuss movies and franchises and music and video games on occasion. Pretty much anything entertainment. We try to cover a little bit of everything here because we want to. It's fun. It's fun stuff. And then, of course, as I'm sure anybody coming back to the channel knows, Derek does his own solo stuff on here as well. Movie reviews and all that kind of stuff. Check those out. Those are a lot more like bite-sized pieces, than our normal podcast episodes, which are usually pretty damn long. So, honestly, you know what? They're not that bad. They're not that bad. I think a good majority of the time they're about an hour 20, which is pretty short for podcast episodes, I think. But
I think today will be a lot shorter.
Yeah, we'll have a pretty short episode because A, we're only talking about one movie. Two, I don't know how much we can really say that hasn't already been said about this particular movie. And obviously, if you're clicking on this, you already know what we're talking about today. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. Terrifier 3, guys. Holy shit. Terrifier 3.
Yes.
You want to open us up, Derek? What's going on? What's going on with Terrifier 3?
Okay, so plot synopsis. Takes place 5 years after Terrifier 2, and it's dealing with Sienna and her trauma from the event. And then Art the Clown is back and in full force.
Yeah.
Definitely full force.
Yeah. Full force, full gore, full mutilation, literally anything that you can think of. He is full of it. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and talk about, first off, the reception. I think the reception so far has been phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and just congrats Damien, for example, for getting awesome. An unrated film to #1 spot. Like, I mean, What the fuck, dude? That's insane. That's unheard of,
Yeah,
so
doesn't happen. Like, I didn't see any, like, oh, this is the first one, but a lot of people, they weren't saying the opposite. So this could have been the first, like, unrated film to reach #1. So, yeah, awesome. And, I mean, it already eclipsed what Terrifier 2 had made, and it was made on a budget of $2 million.
Yeah.
So this movie is, and $500,000, I think, for marketing. That's it. So 2.5 million is what this thing completely cost.
Yep.
And it fucking made almost 18.5 opening weekend. So it's just straight bank now at this point.
It's still going too. I went to the theater last night, which is about a week later almost, and the theater was still pretty full of people. It wasn't entirely packed like it would have been on a weekend, but a Wednesday, dude, a random fucking Wednesday in the middle of the week, after opening weekend, and it was still pretty full. I mean, there was pretty decent amount of people in there still. So
even when I saw it last Thursday, like the preview showing of it, there was way more people there than what I thought there was going to be. I thought there was going to be maybe 10, but it was about half of a theater. I was very, very surprised.
And that sounds like a joke, but going to a theater nowadays is not the same as going to a theater like 10 years ago. Like going to a theater now, you're honestly surprised if there's 10 people in the theater now. Even on opening weekend.
Yeah, because when Tony and I went and saw The Substance, there was 6 people in the theater. Yeah, including us too.
Dude, the theater wasn't even full when we saw Beetlejuice, and that was opening weekend. I mean, and I was like, holy shit! I was expecting this place to be packed, but
ours was actually pretty full when we saw Beetlejuice. There was like,
I mean, ours was full, but it wasn't over capacity like I expected it to be. At least in my nostalgia brain, I'm thinking, opening weekend for a movie as big as Beetlejuice, would have been splitting at the seams. But now, people just don't go to the movies anymore, I don't think.
Well, I mean, if it would have been like in the 90s, yeah, but Tim Burton's cranked out some duds.
Yeah, that's fair.
Over the last few years. So a lot of people this was a... Is he going to prove himself with this one and actually make a hit again? Because the last few weren't, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoyed Beetlejuice. So I'm gonna go ahead before we get too heavy into this. Let me go ahead and put my spoiler thing up We got spoilers ahead. We will be spoiling the shit out of this, so you have been warned. Do not at us. If you tell us in the comments that we spoiled the movie, just look back up at the screen. There's a giant spoiler warning on screen right now. So,
you know what? Speaking of spoilers, I want to say this really quick because I did have one aspect of the movie spoiled for me, and it was actually by Lauren Lavera on like some random interview thing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because she uttered the words, yeah, and, you know, art's demonic. And I was like, that wasn't previously established. And then all the movie, I was like, so that's, okay, damn it. Come on. Come on, Lauren.
I thought you meant like a character death or something. I was like, Jesus.
And this is where I'll sound like the trailer did a good job of kind of laying the groundwork for showing, like, you know, the shower sequence, for instance, because there's no way either one of those kids is making it out of that damn shower.
No.
And then especially with the freaking angels at the end. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I just like I don't even think I watched the like latest trailer. I watched the teaser and the first trailer that they put out, and I still felt like I was like, man, showed a little much. Showed a little much.
Yeah. It did show quite a bit. I think I did watch the most recent trailer, and there was quite a bit in there that was shown. I was still just as confused seeing the trailer, though, just because, like, I've seen the first and second movie, but there is so...
It chopped up good, but it still showed a lot.
Yeah. And there was a few things in there that I was just like, what the fuck is... Like, what is happening right now, you know? But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man. I went into this as open-minded as I could be because a third movie's always kind of a iffy thing for me, especially with horror.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, well, except for Nightmare on Elm Street.
I had something in my throat.
Because Dream Warriors is a fucking banger. And,
fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, and we'll both die on that hill, so go ahead and fight us in the comments on that one. But
yeah, please do. I welcome it.
Speaking of which, Meg and I are going to be starting a Nightmare movies here soon, so...
Oh, I know them all by heart.
I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
I'm ready to go whenever.
I've seen the first three plenty of times, but I have not seen the fourth and fifth. I haven't seen the ones after three as much. I've seen them each once, I think. But that was a while ago, so I need a refresher. But 1 through 3, bangers.
I'll have to send you the link for Never Sleep Again with the added deleted interviews and stuff, because that provides a lot of really good insight with it.
Hell yeah.
But it's also like 6 hours.
Fuck yeah. I mean, hey, I'll figure it out. I'll chop it up into bits, but no.
Yeah, it's divided up movie by movie, so it's not like...
Pun intended.
You can fucking watch it at your discretion. But yeah, Terrifier 3. Okay. Yeah, we could talk about everything else forever.
I had so many questions going into this. So many. Because Terrifier 2 confused the fuck out of me. Even after I watched it the second time, I left Terrifier 2 with 1,000,001 questions.
I guess I don't understand how you had so many questions.
Because
yeah, there are meant to be questions.
Yeah.
But
well, that's what I mean. Like the whole like the pale girl thing, didn't get it. Like I there's just so many things surrounding the pale girl alone that had me fucking like trying to figure shit out. Okay, so after 2, I realized that only Sienna and her brother and Art can see the pale girl. Everybody else cannot see her. Why?
They kind of explained it in 3, so.
What did they say in 3 that explained that? Because I must have missed the fuck out of that shit.
When Sienna and Jonathan are in that chapel at the campus and she reads off the entire letter that he wrote her, that is literally like the entire what's going on with everything, because he's demonic. So and she explains it, I can't remember word for word what she says, but basically the demon then comes into the body of the most depraved individual possible. There has to be a second, a witch, if you will, which that would be the pale girl from 2, which then transfers into Vicky at the end of 2. Mm-hmm. And so how Jonathan is able to see her or see the little girl, I'm not 100% on, because if Sienna is technically the chosen one, it could just be a bloodline thing that maybe her bloodline could see it, and that would explain how Jonathan is able to see it. But yeah, no, that little bit of dialogue right through there, yeah, that basically hammered everything.
Yeah, I remember that, but I remember that part, but the whole being able to see her thing I thought was going to be pretty significant. However, it didn't really explain why. Like the guy at the fucking laundromat, he couldn't see her. You know, like nobody could see her except for those three people.
Until, and I don't know if just transferring, maybe the little girl was just used as a form that Art would recognize, because I mean it's a creepy ass little girl that probably had just recently died, painted up just like him, because the construction people, they obviously saw Vicky killed one of them in the movie. So I don't know if it was a ghost apparition thing following him around and she was just like waiting for a vessel to get in, but that would be about the best way I could explain it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still fucking. Okay. Look, before I continue, I've enjoyed Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Okay, I've enjoyed them. I've got very little gripes with either one of them, to be honest with you. Same with 3. I enjoyed it. It was fun as fuck. It was hilarious. It was absolutely fucking creepy. And it was disgusting, as it should be, you know? But Terrifier 2, like I said, just left me with a bunch of questions. I can't even think of them all off the top of my head. It answered a couple of them in 3, but then left me with a million more. Mainly, the whole Sienna and her dad thing. I think it was implying that her dad was, like, abusive in an essay kind of way. But then he was, like, portrayed very nice and kind and sweet, and she seemed to have a good relationship with him.
No, because even in 2, they said that, like, there was a line between Brooke and Allie, I think, at some point. Or no, it was Brooke explaining to the boyfriend before he gets stabbed in the dick that the dad was abusive, but it was never hinted sexually, just physically abusive. And they did kind of touch on that as well, that, like, maybe the dad was chosen to get the sword and stuff for her, and then so that's why when he's handing her the picture, all that crazy shit's going, like, he's seeing what's going to happen, and yeah, you could definitely draw the conclusion that it drives him mad.
Oh, okay, so when he freezes up and shit, he locks up, he's seeing the stuff that's about to happen in her life. Mm-hmm. With Art and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was the flashes of the, like, Art beating the fuck out of Sienna from Terrifier 2. And also, side note, I just want to say to the douchebag in Killer Flicks that argued with me on this, when they announced Jason Patrick for this movie, I said he's going to be Sienna's dad. Some asshole had the nerve. No, why would you even think that? Like, just being a total fucking tool bag about it. Look who was right, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Sorry. I wanted to get that off my chest real quick.
No, I feel you. Okay, so that makes sense. I was taking that scene as just, like, flashbacks that Sienna was having during that moment. She was having, like, flashbacks of her childhood, and then some of it was flashing with her in the tank of water and shit. Like, I thought that was just a big jumbled up mess of her personal flashback in her head.
No, I took it as, like, the second they, like, touched the form that she was going to become, Sienna wasn't getting any of that, but it was all just, like, fucking just on her dad and just making him fucking crazy.
Okay. I think a lot of this mainly will probably just need another watch, more than likely. However, there's one big glaring major thing that I was not very happy with.
See if you got the same one as me, because I've got one thing I was not happy about. One
very big, large no square that we hit that I was very disappointed about, and it has to do with Jonathan.
Yep.
And it has to do with Jonathan being killed. For one, killed. 2, killed off screen.
Off screen.
3, they did him dirty in general because he only had, like, fucking 10 minutes of screen time out of the 2-hour long movie.
You're being kind with 10 minutes.
I think that Jonathan got shafted hard as fuck in this movie, and I just like that was my biggest thing. Was like, I love Jonathan. Jonathan's just I love his character. I love his character. I think he's cool. I wanted to see more of his arc, and they not only didn't really give us anything from him other than that little banter between him and his sister, and there was a couple scenes where he was on screen by himself and obviously with his roommate and his roommate's girlfriend and shit like that. But part of that was almost like how much of that was even fucking real, because the demon was like fucking with him at one point or another off screen. We don't know. We don't know how much of the dialogue was even his at that point, because like, I don't know, dude. He got shafted fucking hard though.
So I will say I do agree with what you're saying. I wanted more. I not wanted more. I expected more Jonathan in this movie.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, ultimately Sienna is the chosen one. So I can understand why he doesn't get as much time in the movie. Doesn't mean I like it, but I can at least understand it. And him being killed off screen. Oddly enough, you were the fourth person to tell me and direct quotes. They did Jonathan dirty in this one. That pissed me off to no end because he was such a big part, a huge fucking part of 2. So to be killed off screen unceremoniously too, made no fucking sense whatsoever. That would be like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 killing Joey and Kincaid off screen and then just focusing on Kristen, so then Freddy gets the rest of the Elm Street kids. I was not a fan of it, and I like that. That was the big issue that I told you I had with the movie.
Yeah,
like
immediately when they revealed that was probably Jonathan, which I kind of guessed a little bit before then anyway. I was like, "There's no fucking way that's Gabby. That's definitely Jonathan or something," you know.
Yeah.
Immediately when they revealed it, I was like, fuck off, dude. Get the fuck out of here. You don't... Okay, in a slasher film, you don't fucking kill anybody off screen. It's a slasher film. That's the whole fucking point of them. Like, what the fuck? And then 2, Art the Clown is gonna have an off-screen kill?
Not just 1, but 2.
What the fuck? Dude!
Yeah.
3 of a main character? Eat my asshole, dude. No. What the fuck? No.
No, that ultimately is the deciding factor for me between 2 and 3. Because when I left 2, I know people bitched about the runtime. I loved Terrifier 2's runtime. Because I ultimately ended up caring about every fucking character in that goddamn movie. 3... It felt like when I said, I can't remember if I said this to you or not, but it felt like there was like a 5 to 10 minute sequence of the movie that was just cut out. And what I was saying is Jonathan's death. There was a sequence of that cut, I feel like, I don't know, but that was what it came down to for me in deciding between Terrifier 2 and 3, because I left Terrifier 2 with no issues at all. I loved it. It's one of my favorite slasher movies. This one did a big fucking no, and I still love the movie, don't get me wrong, but that just pissed me off to no end.
One of my biggest gripes about 2 was the runtime. That was one of my biggest gripes. Aside from the various questions I had, I need to fucking just like sit down and like write them down so I can like address them to you, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, because I definitely want to see if I'm up to the challenge of answering all of them.
I have some questions, and I will try to remember as many as I can and write them down, and I'll send them to you. But anyway, the runtime was too long for me, personally. And the only reason I say, and anybody that knows me knows, I don't care if it's a long movie. Some of my favorite movies of all time are the Lord of the Rings Extended. I'll fucking sit there and watch them motherfuckers anytime, any day, as often as I want to. I'll watch them fuckers on repeat, okay? But it's because you can't feel the time, okay? At least for me, I couldn't feel the 4-hour runtime of Return of the King. Like...
Oh, I'm sorry. I highly beg to differ on that one.
I can't. I love it. I love every fucking scene in that movie. and I will gladly watch every second of it. And I know, to each their own. I know sometimes, I mean, some people, they just cannot do it. But with like the Harry Potter movies, I can't feel the 2 hours. I can't feel the 2 hours of like one of the big blockbuster MCU movies, because there's usually just stuff going on all the time. Obviously, I'm talking about the good ones. I'm not talking about fucking Eternals or some shit. I'm talking about like fucking Infinity War or whatever. Like, I can't feel the time there. But I could feel the fucking time of Terrifier 2. Dude, I'm telling you right now, at the end, when they're fucking playing tag in the goddamn funhouse or whatever, I'm like, dude, we've already circled around to this part 4 times. Get to the point. We don't need all of this. Like, this, there's just too much going on at the... And that was mainly my gripe, was the very end. There was like 15 minutes of time that could have just been cut from the movie. It would have had the same dramatic effect. It would have the same outcome. It would have been just as tense, but it wouldn't have felt like 15 minutes worth of running around in circles. And every once in a while, somebody gets stabbed or smacked with a board of wood or whatever. Like, it just felt really dragged on at the end of Terrifier 2. But I will say, I did not feel that in this movie as much. So again, 2 hour long movie. I did not feel it as much as I did in Terrifier 2. But I don't remember where I was going with that. But my point is, Terrifier 3, it could have kept the same 2 hours, and it could have just removed some shit that was way less relevant than Jonathan. Like, I don't know, like the fucking family at the beginning, the intro of the movie.
Okay,
they're irrelevant.
That is literally what I was going to say. Because if you look at it and try to piece everything together, okay, at the beginning, this family, no fucking significance to our main characters, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Art's got the red bag. He has the red bag before the mall, but the rest of the time it's the carpenter bag that can withstand a lot of weight.
Yeah, he's got that hefty shit, dude.
Yeah, it's called carpenter bag, Toby. For nails and shit, Toby. But anyways, first off, it's not in like sequence. Now, 2 flowed, all right, because you start right where 1 left off. Art in the fucking coroner's office, and there is no jumping. So, for the opening sequence, it would have had to have taken place before the mall massacre, but after the bar, because we don't see when Art gets that red bag. And yeah, they're not like, you could have cut that opening out of the movie or just put it elsewhere in the movie, and it would have made more sense, because it jumps from like a day before the massacre to 5 years later to here. It's like, is it a Tarantino movie and it's shot completely out of fucking sequence like Pulp Fiction or something? Like, don't get me wrong, the intro was brutal, and I understand. I think the intro was just only put in there just for shock value. Not story value, anything like that.
Damien went on record saying that he put that intro in there because he wanted people to go into this movie without having met Art before. He wanted that to be the impression. Like, you may have seen Terrifier 1 and 2, but I want you to be coming into this with fresh eyes. You don't know Art. This is going to show you who Art is. And to anybody coming in that hasn't seen the movies, he wanted to catch them up to speed with, like, this is Art. This is who he is. This is what he's doing. But I still don't give a fuck, because they could have cut that whole sequence out and given us more Jonathan time, and I would have been much more pleased with it than if I would have seen a random family get hacked up. Like, I don't care. Yes, it was brutal, but I want more Jonathan, period.
And I guess part of the reason I'm just like, you still could have cut it, like, because, yeah, even if it is an introduction to Art's Clown, like, everybody, this was a big is Art going to kill kids? Is Art going to kill kids?
Yeah.
He does in All Hallows Eve. Like, in literally same fucking heads off everything. So, like, I don't know. It feels kind of redundant to me to, like, oh, hey, this is the introduction, but we're still just doing shit we've already done before.
That's another thing that was kind of weird about the whole him putting that scene in there as an introduction to Art, because I'm pretty sure in that same interview he says that or he confirms that Terrifier 1 is pretty much just Art's introduction. There's no story. There's not really any story to it. It's just him doing Art things. And only one of those characters is relevant, I'm pretty sure, at the end of the day, and that's Vicky. And she doesn't even need to be relevant. If you just take the first movie by itself, like, that's just who Art is. That's Art the Clown, okay?
Yeah.
So the whole intro sequence, even if it was going to be like an intro for Art to show who he is and stuff, you don't need it, because you have the entire first Terrifier movie showing you who Art is.
And you got the whole second one. I mean, they did not try to reintroduce Freddy Krueger to people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's unnecessary. Like, don't get me wrong, it's awesome. And like I said, it could have been shifted to immediately, like, after the bar sequence or something. But before the mall sequence, the movie would have just flowed better.
I would, cut it entirely and fill it with Jonathan stuff. Something.
Jonathan death and more kids in the college being killed. Because
yes.
Art goes to a fucking college and kills 2 kids. That's it.
A college party.
Yeah.
A college party.
Kids.
A bunch of
kids.
drunk
That's
kids.
2 kids. That's it. Like. Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely felt missed opportunity there.
Technically 3, because he kills Jonathan too, but we just don't fucking see it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that irks me so bad, dude. I'm pissed about it.
Let me get into some, like, I've got pros and cons written down here right now. One thing, and I'll say this for Fivehead, just so she is referenced in this, because I talked with her a lot after she pointed out that there was no ASPCA thing at the end, like, for animals and stuff. I didn't notice that. She was actually, like, I don't mean to say, like, oh, she was actually upset, but no, she was actually pissed about that. I didn't even notice it, so at least throw that in there. I mean, come on.
Interesting. I didn't notice that.
I'm just going to read off the few cons real quick. Lack of Jonathan is number 1.
Yeah.
Lack of Jericho hitting a fucking Judas effect on Vicky, or at least trying it on a headless Art and failing horribly.
That would have been funny as hell.
Yeah, that's more of a joke.
That would have been funny as fuck, dude.
And this is also another joke, too, that me and Fivehead discussed. Sienna can't do makeup for shit. I'm sorry, that little girl's makeup looked awful.
She almost looked like a clown.
Yeah, 100%. It was not good. And she's like, I forgot how much I love doing this. You could be a makeup artist. That's like,
yeah.
Like, sorry, that was not good makeup.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Okay. Under my pros, gore. This.
Oh yeah, it was fucked up, dude.
Out of the fucking park with the gore, and I loved it. Sienna was awesome in this movie. Lauren Lavera, she stepped up big time, because I feel like we've got more of her dealing with her trauma and a better final battle than we got through 3 David Gordon Green Halloween movies. And I'm saying that as somebody that liked 2 of the 3. Because, yeah, like, when she's seeing Brooke pounding at the table and just, like trying not to freak out because her family's there. She's fresh from the asylum and stuff.
I was like, that whole sequence, I was like, fuck. Y'all have already fucked up mashed potatoes for me. Please do not fuck up Chinese food for me. Please.
Or rice in particular.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all eating Chinese food, so I'm like, I'm expecting at any moment somebody's getting, like, some fucking, like, rice shoved in their cake hole, or fucking some nasty shit involving fortune cookies or something. I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
What else do we got here? We got the shower scene, of course. That was
Blood Angel.
Yeah, that was fucking nice.
Dude, he got the chainsaw right up his poop chute, dude. I was like, God damn.
Right in the pooper. And fuck, dude, that was hard to watch. Like, just because, like, cutting the fucking arm, like, his arm mostly off first, then cutting the fingers off, then cutting his fucking leg off. Then he tries to stand on it, and it, makes noises. Like, that kill was just fucking awesome. I loved Vicky and Art together, like, right when Headless Art, which I love that too, by the way, where he's just on the fucking train.
He's used the security guy's fucking head. Yeah. It's like, this is
Jericho.
Don't be suspicious.
And then Jericho's fucking at the end of the hallway and just a headless body's waving at him.
Yeah.
Loved every second of that.
That
And
was
then
good.
Vicky and Art getting set up in the house. I love that. Vicky was just batshit crazy. I mean, obviously she was knife blasting herself at one, or glass blasting herself at one point.
Yeah, that was gross.
Which
I'm not gonna lie,
which I was like,
gross.
I remember being like, oh, she's feeling it. Oh my fucking god, she is really feeling it.
Really feeling
Ugh.
it. Mm.
That was rough as a dude. Like, please, any females that watch this, did you watch that? How did that make you feel?
Ugh.
Yeah.
The before we move on from the fucking asylum scene though, the money shot with Art's long, nasty fucking tube body, like feeding into Vicky's mouth or some shit or whatever the fuck that was disgusting.
Yeah.
That was fucking gross, dude. He was sitting there eating that bitch's face, and it was like sliding down his flesh tube body, and Vicky was sucking it out of him. And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? What is happening right now?
Loved it.
Ugh.
Did you catch the work of art being played in the movie? Okay.
Dude, the second Deanna and I heard the fucking melody, we both looked over at each other like, oh, it's the thing!
Yeah, like,
and
on
roommate
Thursday,
and his girlfriend are kissing and shit, and Jonathan walks into it.
Yeah, and so on Thursday, the song hadn't been released yet, but I was like, the fuck is that?
The art of dying. Dude, we've been singing that song nonstop for the past week.
Oh, it's easily the best song that has came out in the last week.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Or is the Terrifier Christmas song the best song that's been released in the last week?
That was a banger too. That was a banger.
I know I'm fucking what I'm bumping this holiday.
Oh yeah. I'm adding it to my playlist. I've got a playlist of acceptable Christmas music.
Yep. Mine's just basically all Bro Job and fucking Aqua Teen Christmas. That's it. I love the fact that this is now a quadrilogy and not a trilogy. And the way Damien's telling the stories, as it's not being written like a movie, but it's being written like a mini-series. So the questions that are hanging over that are going to be answered, like the ones from 2 that got answered in 3. Love that. Once again, loved Paul Wiley's music in this and just their overall, just everything else that they chose to add into it. Awesome. Jonathan's roommate, I thought he was cool. Kind of go back to what we said about cutting the fucking intro out and giving Jonathan more time. Throw some more time in with him. He seemed like a cool dude. And his girlfriend, kind of a bitch.
Yeah,
but
awful.
Yeah, and I did love the fact, though, just to kind of showcase how stupid people are in general, that they legit had, like, when Jonathan was watching a little bit of that podcast, and the one's like, oh, see, I could have done it, blah, 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 and it's like, how the, what? Like, some people, like, and I mean, that echoes into real life, that people are fucking seriously dumb enough to believe the dumbest fucking shit imaginable.
Yep.
And yes, I'm talking about what I'm talking about without saying it. Fucking idiots.
Speaking of that, actually, there was a part in the fucking girlfriend's podcast or whatever where there was the one chick was telling her that Sienna was at every crime scene, but that's not true. Right?
Yeah, she wasn't at Allie's house.
She wasn't at any crime scene except for the last one with her and Jonathan where Brooke died. I'm pretty sure that's the only one she fucking showed up at. Or she was the only one present at.
What she said was that she was connected to everybody that was killed. So you could draw,
she said she was at every crime scene. She said that. Like, she said something about a crime scene. Like,
she was connected to everyone that died.
No.
That's, yeah.
No. She said that too.
Yeah.
But I'm almost certain she said as well she was seen at every crime scene or something along those lines.
We'll talk about this here in a few minutes.
Okay.
But then, yeah, I already referenced the Jason Patrick thing, so I love, like, everybody can fuck off with that. Loved Vicky just by herself doing her thing. trying to take over Sienna and everything. The brutal kill on her aunt. Fucking insane.
Yeah, that was fucked.
I knew instantly, like, the second they showed that tube, I was like, yep, I know exactly what's going to fucking happen here with those rats, too. Yeah. It did not change the fact that it was any less brutal.
Disgusting. Also, Sienna's face getting shoved into her uncle's fucking open, gaping wound in his torso. That was disgusting.
Yeah. But all in all, good stuff.
So, I've got one gripe about that final sequence. And it was just a fucking facepalm moment. And I think I know why they did it. And it was just to show that Sienna can't fucking be harmed by that goddamn sword. But why
didn't do.
Why the fuck would she grab the blade to lift her? Why wouldn't she grab anything else in the room? Literally anything else in the room that didn't have a blade attached to it. Like moments before this, I'm saying moments before this, Gabby picks up a long piece of wood and bops Art with it. Like, there was broken ass wood things all over the place. Why the fuck wouldn't she grab one of those instead of the fucking sword? Why the fuck would she do that?
I agree with what you're saying. The only thing I would say that maybe why that didn't happen is because when that fucking floor gave in and, you know, the portal to hell or whatever opened up, maybe it fell in there.
Yeah, but there's another wooden chair right next to the fucking hole. She could have grabbed the whole chair.
Hey, I'm not fucking arguing with you. I'm just saying, like, that the pieces from the broken chair may have fallen in there. Using the sword to grab her, yeah, it was just used to fucking show, like, oh, I can, my hands are healed.
That was dumb.
Like I said, they already showed that in 2.
Yeah.
Because she gets straight up right through the fucking gut with it.
Yeah.
And then it heals. So we don't, like, you don't need to retread the same ground that you already have. If people haven't been paying attention, that's on them.
Yeah, they can go back and watch the movie.
Yeah, not the fucking filmmaker. Yeah. But yeah, using the sword to pull her up, yeah, that...
Like, I'm not even saying to hold the handle and then let Gabby grab the blade. I'm saying don't grab the fucking sword at all. Grab anything else in the fucking room that she could have grabbed onto that doesn't have a blade on it. I'm sure there's plenty of those things. She wouldn't have... Like, the blood sliding down the blade and shit would have made it more slick as well. So what the fuck was she thinking that was going to do?
If anything, she could have grabbed some intestines that was fucking trimmed on the tree and just fucking wrapped it up like a rope, handed it down, because, you know, she's hanging one-handed. It's like, okay, take this, wrap your hand around it, do not grab it, you will slide, wrap it, and I will pull you.
Exactly. Plenty of things.
Oh, yeah, no, like I said, I wasn't arguing with you on that. I thought that wasn't the greatest decision either, but...
Yeah, fucking stupid. Come on, Sienna, I expect better than you. Or better out of you.
For real.
That was the same kind of thing that, like, irked me with the whole final battle with Laurie Strode in the 2018 Halloween. Like, that was the same thing, like, the same concept. Like, Laurie had 40 years to plan for this whole thing, and she was making rookie mistakes the entire fucking time. Like, that was my biggest gripe about 2018's Halloween. Same thing with Sienna. Like, dude, 5 years worth of time, and it doesn't take more than 5 minutes to understand that you can't grab the fucking blade of a goddamn sword and bleed all over it to lift your fucking cousin out of a hole to hell. Like, dude.
Well, and
common fucking sense, dude.
I guess at least a good thing is now that Gabby is in hell, Sienna's going to have to come find her. At least she has something to defend herself with. But the question is, does the sword have the same power, like regardless of who's using it? Or is it just Sienna that gets these effects, since she's the chosen one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure they've made many comments over and over and over about how her dad made that sword for her, like gave it to her.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
Like, I mean, I guess at least she's got a sharp stabby thing down in the old belly of the beast. So
that fucking demon blacksmith that was like hammering away at that fucking sword or whatever when he was making it looks exactly like the fucking Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings Two Towers that has the fucking big torch that he lights the bombs with in the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got the same helmet on and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? That's that guy from Lord of the Rings. What the fuck? Looks just like him, man. I need to Photoshop that together. Put them side by side or something.
Do it. Do it.
I think I will.
But yeah, I guess we can move into what score would you give it?
Out of 10?
Yeah.
I would give it a... I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10 because of Jonathan. If it wasn't for the Jonathan thing, I would give it a solid, 8.5. Probably.
Yeah.
That's the one thing bringing it down to 7 for me.
8.5 is what I settled on. And yeah, the lack of Jonathan is seriously what knocks it down, as far as it did. Because we did point out some things the sword that we just got done talking about. That was stupid, but it didn't, bother me enough. Because I could at least tell myself, oh, she literally had no time. She's being sucked into hell. That's the only thing she had. I could make some flimsy-ass defense of that. Still would have looked did a quick fucking scope to see if I could find something else better. Or just dove in the fucking hole with her. But 8.5 is ultimately what I settled with.
I would like this one more. I would like this one more if it wasn't for Jonathan than 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm on the fence. Because I like 1 a lot. I like 1. Depending on the day, I like 1 more than 2. So
yeah, it's no brainer for me. It goes 1, 3, 2. 2 is just so good, and I probably need to start incorporating All Hallows in that ranking too, which the Terrifier segments of that are fucking phenomenal. But other than that, the rest of the stuff not so much.
Yeah, as far as scariness goes, I don't think that really any of these are super scary, as a lot of people think. I think, personally, the most scary part about any of these movies is the fucking Vicky's face, for one. Terrifies the shit out of me. Especially when her eye is glowing. That shit fucks me up every time. And in 2, when the little pale girl is on screen and she is her eyes are just front and center the whole time. That shit fucks me up as well. Especially when they are glowing when she's in the van I think she's looking at Jonathan.
Yeah.
And her eyes start glowing, but she is still almost entirely in darkness. And I was like, oh, fuck no, dude. I'm going to be seeing those eyes in the corner of my fucking room for the next week, dude. Get that off the fucking screen. That shit scares me. But the gore and stuff like that, Art being a silly clown guy, fuck no, that ain't scary.
Yeah, no.
But that being said, I would argue that this one, 3, is scarier for me anyway, because of the amount of Vicky that's on fucking screen. She scares the shit out of me, dude.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say I don't really. It's rare, especially going through Silent Hill 2 now and being genuinely scared in that game. These movies, they don't scare me. So the scariness is not a factor because there's nothing.
Yeah. They really aren't very scary.
I mean, it don't get me wrong. What you're saying about Vicky, yeah, she looks fucking horrifying. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not
yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, well done, guys. Well done, cast and crew of Terrifier 3 for pumping out a fucking banger. It's cool to see an indie filmmaker be able to do something like this. I think that's just good shit, because it's fun to be able to see stuff like this and give inspiration to some other indie filmmakers that maybe they don't want to because they know they're never going to be as big as Disney, or they're never going to be as big as the fucking Lionsgate or whatever. You know, they're never going to be that big fucking thing. But when an indie filmmaker puts out an unrated film and hits number 1, I mean, that's been inspiration enough for me, you know? Fucking just do it, man. Just fucking do it. If you got an idea, put that shit on a fucking camera and figure it out, because it's possible.
One thing I'm going to say, and this is, I guess, in regards to Terrifier 4, which is definitely coming. Please do not make the sequel mistake of adding way too much humor. 3, I think, hit the mark perfectly. And if we use like Nightmare on Elm Street as a reference, once you hit that peak, it's hard to maintain it. And then you put more and more and more, ultimately drags the film down.
Yeah.
So I just hope that they, if anything, they could turn their back on the comedy. Well, I mean, Art just has comedy built into him just the way he is. I just hope they don't overdo it in the next one.
Yeah.
And the possible Terrifier 5 that we could be getting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Don't make the whole movie a joke.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still a slasher film meant to, like, showcase people getting cut up and fucking slit and beheaded and blown up and mutilated in all kinds of disgusting, horrible ways and shit. It's still telling a very serious story, a very serious, fucked up story. So, yeah, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Please don't, for the love of God.
Anyway, I think that'll about do it, unless you have any closing statements.
Nope. Awesome movie.
Go check it out.
In the next one.
Yep. Go check it out, everybody. Let us know if you've seen it down in the comments below. Have you seen it? What did you think? What is your ranking of the Terrifier 3 held up against the other two? Throw in fucking All Hallows Eve in there as well. Let us know. Talk to us. Give us some stuff to comment back to. And, yeah. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this or anything else we've got on the channel, because we've got a bunch of stuff on here. Go check it out. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.